Okay. Well, bottom line is, I couldn't work out what was going on with Brexit. I really couldn't work it out. I couldn't. It didn't make any sense. With Brexit, England are racist, which is fine. I'm used to that. But why would they Brexit and put us all in dire straits? All our businesses moving to Europe. All our businesses moving to different parts of the world, head offices and everything. All manufacturing's already gone out of Britain, most of it. Or coal even's out of Britain. We got virtually nothing going on in Britain apart from the banking institutions, which we're like a service country. So we've got the banking institutions, which kind of really do about maybe even up to about 15% of our GDP, which is gross domestic product. So that means that all our profit, 15% of the entire of England, of the UK's profits, come from the square mile, effectively, financial institutions, and everything revolving around that. Like there's accountancies that, like Arthur Anderson, who went bust, well, who was fraudulent, and there's law firms who fight, top law firms who fight all the cases. Yeah, so basically, it didn't make any sense why they're doing this much damage to the UK, which is clear to someone like me who's not racist. Well, I can't be. I can be. I can be racist against white people. I can be racist against Muslims. Yeah, but I'm not. But they why are they breaking Britain so badly? Yeah, and then what I've got is I've finally. Then all of a sudden I was just sat in a daze and the penny dropped. Boris Johnson has a brief. His brief is to absolutely, totally give us Brexit and then break the UK, completely shatter everything in the UK. Yeah? This is what I think the plan must be, because it doesn't make any sense. Yeah? Get Britain to basically lose a lot of its business, all its head offices, etc., and like that. Get people struggling to find jobs, right? So people are really going to be in dire straits because there's not going to be enough decent paying jobs to go around. Carry on importing foreign labour for slave labour, because that's what matters to Britain, the bottom line, the profits. This is what British people fail to understand. It's not foreigners coming here, yeah, and taking all our jobs and taking all our money. It's big business that wants foreigners to come here to take on big. Let's say they're building 1,000 houses. They'd rather take on foreign labour, where they're not going to get any lip. Yeah, they get it. They're paying bare minimum because they've just come from a foreign country. They think they're getting paid decent wages, and they get the houses built. Might not be as good standard as, let's say, British builders could do, because we're well trained. But they get the job done. They make monster profits for the company directors, and then the shareholders get their share. This is what keeps people coming to Britain. The businesses want cheap labour, and until you can give them that same profit by using British people, they're going to keep coming in and keep coming in. The only difference is, this is what I told people about Brexit, the only difference is, usually all the foreign labour that came into Britain was, I'd say a majority of them were from Poland or the Eastern Europe. Yeah? But now that we've Brexited, it's going to be more open for people to come from India, Pakistan, Africa, and Europe. So we're going to get more brown people, which I don't care, the more the merrier. Right? But this is what Brexiters didn't bank on. So that's going to happen. And soon, Scotland is going to say, listen, we didn't even want a Brexit. It's a ridiculous move. It's crazy. We're going back into Europe. And they're going to have a referendum and they're going to start going back into Europe. Northern Ireland is going to say, listen, it isn't really working out. Our fellow brothers in Southern Ireland, known as Ireland, they're having lives. Their lives are much better than ours. And so we want to unify Ireland, and they'll have a referendum and go back to joining Europe, leaving England and Wales blowing in the wind. Yeah, we'll be paying top dollar for all our imports because we can't advertise as a massive trading bloc. Whereas we might, let's say we were with Europe, we might need copper, yeah? So we might say we need 200,000 tons of copper per year. What price can you give it us at? But now, because we're just England and Wales, we'll say we need 20 tons of copper. What price can you give it us at? So it's going to put the price up. And when that price goes up, that's going to reflect on us, the people of the country. We have to pay that price because we're Brexit. Yeah, we haven't got as much leverage in a negotiation for all deals, right? And the other thing that people fail to forget is Europe, all the different countries of Europe have something to offer. France and Italy, I think it's France and Italy, they have very high food standards. They don't like pesticides. They don't like Roundup being used on the food. They don't like genetically modified crops. They don't like chlorinated chicken. They don't like fluoride in the water. Yeah, and they bring all this to Europe because we're part of Europe. They start putting these big laws into Europe saying, listen, okay, you can have fluoridated water in Britain, but we don't want it in France. But we also, all the food that we buy, we don't want it to be, we only want this many levels of arsenic in rice. We only want a very low level of pesticide. We don't want genetically modified crops. So they bring, this is good for British people, to have clean food, less, what's it called? Pesticide, non-fluoridated water, things like that. They, you know, these countries offer us something. Yeah, the Polish people, very good, clean living, hard working people, and that's good for the British, who are lazy bastards, as far as I'm concerned, to see. Do you know what I mean? Germany, very good, high engineering standards. So have we as British Aerospace. We have very high engineering standards. You know, it brings everyone in Europe brings something to the table. But all the British people think about is we give them 32 billion a year. We want our borders back. Not realising that the companies, the businesses, don't want to give them the borders back. They want slave labour, cheap. Yeah, not realising that the reason they're eating, their health is probably holding up is because they're not eating chlorinated chicken. They're not eating frozen, pesticide infected food. They're not eating Roundup. They're not eating too much genetically modified food. You know what I mean? Because of Europe. And what the other thing about British people, they don't understand that all the laws and everything in Europe, we were at the big table. We're at the head of the big table with Germany, saying, yeah, well, we want to put this law in, we don't want to put that law in, and blah blah blah. And we've got a lot of say. You know what I mean? We've got a lot of say, and we've got to keep the pound. All of Europe uses the euro, but they gave Britain a little edge. They said, you can keep the pound. You can carry on running your financial district the way you want to. Right? But just recently, there was some legislation, European directives, that said companies like Facebook, Amazon, YouTube, eBay, companies that make profit from the British people or the European people, they need to pay taxes on that money, right? And Britain said, no, we don't want to do that, right? So they're saying, yes, we do want to do that. And not only that, but we want to look into your financial district and open everything up to Europe. Yeah, and Britain's saying, no, we don't want to do that. And let me tell you why they don't want to do that. Because Britain, the London, UK, is the #1 money laundering capital of the world. This sounds ridiculous and crazy to some people, but we are #1. We are the biggest financial money arranging offshore company dealings in the whole world, and we do billions and billions of dollars, billions and billions of euros every single day, right? It's big business for us, and we don't want to share that pot. This is what's going on. We don't want to share that pot with the rest of Europe. We want it for ourselves, and this is why Brexit has been pushed, to keep the rich people who get massive fat bonuses, big ass money transactions going through, they get to keep it. You see, in this world, there's how many billions or trillions are there from drugs every year? How much billions and trillions are there for war and armaments and things like that every year? How many billions and trillions have all the dictators of the world got every year? Yeah? Robbing their own people. Well, that money is too big to be stuffed under a mattress. Yeah? So it has to somehow get into the banking system and look legitimate. Yeah? How much fraud and and all that. VAT fraud. That makes millions and billions of pounds every year. Well, that money has to come back into the banking system. And where it happens, mainly, the centre of it all, is London. And we don't want to give that up. And people don't believe that, but we are the financial money laundering capital of the entire planet. And if we open it up to Europe, then we only get a piece of that cake, where we've got it all. We've got it all. And we don't want to give it up, and that is why Brexit was pushed. Now, the other thing is, the world right now is becoming more global. There's a European Union, there's an African Union, there's a American Union, as a matter of fact, joining like North and South America together. You know, there's probably one in the East, yeah? There's unions over the world, bang, bang, bang. These are the power brokers of the entire planet, right? So, does it make sense that Little Britain is cutting ourselves out to fight against these massive blocks who have some power over the whole globe? It doesn't make any sense, right? And I couldn't work out what was going on. But now I'll tell you what I think and this will shock and hurt a lot of people, why I think Brexit is happening. Brexit is happening because Britain is so bigoted, so racist, and a lot of the people in Britain are so fucking stupid, yeah, that in order to persuade these people to be able to integrate England, the UK, the United Kingdom, fully into Europe, that means taking the euro, having a European army, and every European laws, no more English laws, European law, no more pound, dollar, no more army, navy and Royal Air Force against whatever. They want us in there. We are joining that bloc. And the reason for Brexit is to break Britain, to shatter it to pieces, to bring it to its knees. And so all them bigoted, racist idiots will be broke. And only then will they turn around and say, we need to sort this shit out for my sake, for my kids' sake, for everyone's sake. Get us back in the EU. I'll vote to go in the EU. Except this time we'll have the euro, we'll have the European army, we'll have the European law only. I think Brexit is about 100% full integration as a European state into Europe. And with Britain, who's got its own side deals with the dollar, with the pound and not the euro, it breaks all them down. Because when Britain is broken and on its knees, Europe, and we rejoin, they will say, but only on the grounds that you rejoin as an equal partner, not as someone who's got all the perks. Your financial districts, everything's open to Europe. It's run from Europe. And we have to hand it over. So right now, the city bankers and all them people, they're going to try and do a quick killing. And I think that this whole Brexit process, from us Brexiting to entering fully as a European state, is going to take about 20 years. And imagine how long that would take for Britain to give up the pound, for Britain to give up the financial district, for the racists in Britain to hold their hands up and say, okay, we'll join fully. That could take hundreds of years. But they're going to do it all in 20 years. So Brexit isn't about leaving Europe. It's about becoming a fully, 100% full state of Europe. And that's the only thing that makes sense. Why is Boris pushing for no deal Brexit? Why is he doing this? You know, because it's just going to make life harder for me and the rest of the bigots in Britain. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. So Brexit is a lie. And all the world conglomerating together and we're splitting off Little Britain is to get rid of all these imperialistic tendencies of the bigoted Brits, the racist Brits. It's to get rid of all that, to put a stop to it once and for all. So for them to see clearly that the only way forward is as part of a giant block. And that's what's happening. So, remember who told you.